Hello, Casey Wilson, owner of Roseville Strength and Conditioning and one of your co-hosts of the Do or Do Not podcast. And this is...
I am Brad Erie, the co-host, the talent, if you will.
The co-host
the better list
co-host
maker.
with the leastest.
That's true.
All right, so today we're going to discuss... We have a cool topic today. So Brad and I bounce ideas back and forth of each other. So I hit him yesterday with, it was kind of last second because Brad's pretty busy with getting ready to go on a cruise for how many days?
It's like 7 days.
Yeah, so he's going on a cruise.
Look, it's easier to move an army, I think, than it is two kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the packing and coordination it takes.
So we're doing a part one and a part two, and here's what the gist is. It's our top 10 and some honorable mentions. Favorite sci-fi movies of all time, but no Star Wars, no Star Trek, because those two would probably dominate the top 10 for us because we both love Star Wars.
Absolutely, and no real fantasy.
Yeah, so I had a list. I was going to go.
Okay, sorry. You know what?
Throw your 2 cents in.
That's all I have is 2.5 cents.
All right. So the big thing is trying to make sure we don't have fantasy. So it's something science-based. There has to be some part of it is basically a science fiction where it's something that could happen in the future if science progressed to a certain point, or it has to do with aliens and the spacecraft and something, time travel, those type of things.
Yep.
So it has to have something to do with that. So there's fantasy and then there's the science fiction side of it. Yeah. And so all the ones I did I went through and made sure that they had a sci-fi listing of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that was the gist. And the main thing about it doesn't have to be what movie made the most money.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some of those. There's some of those on the list, but these are lists of movies that affected us. Yeah. That moved us, that created emotion with it in us, and who made us have this imagination and think about ourselves being in this. And we could someday do this, or this. I wish I was able to be there. And you just thought about it, and then when you were a kid, or even as an adult, however, it somehow sparked something inside you that had a feeling that just made you want to watch this movie again and again, and it had a special place even all these years later. Like a lot of mine are dominant of the 80s. My list has a lot of 80s in it, some 90s and some current stuff.
Mine's but the problem with me is like science fiction movies are my favorite type of movies. And I probably could crank a list of 100 that I have I loved, and to try to narrow it down to a top 10 was really hard, and it changed it all the way until you started, and then I switched a couple.
You have to take down how they made you feel.
They all do in some ways, but you'll see.
Yeah, but no, it's special. There's certain movies that are special. When you get done watching it, you have a feeling. You're watching it, and you're like, the movie gets done, and you go, "Holy crap!"
Well, I mean, of course, Star Wars, the original was the ultimate.
My first 3 would be would be Empire, Jedi, and Star Wars. That would be my top 3. But we're not picking any Star Wars stuff.
I know.
So if you're new to the podcast, we do a lot of Star Wars talk on it. We do a lot of stuff. We talk about fitness. We talk about current shows and stuff. We talk about a lot of things. But today we want to talk about all those sci-fi shows, movies that are in our favorite top 10s, that they're our personal. And so I don't know what's on his list. He doesn't know what's on mine. And so we're going to discuss these movies. We might even have some music that goes along with some of them. And hopefully you enjoy our lists, and comment below who you think has the best list.
Mom, you know what to do.
All right, Brad.
All right. I'm going to start with I have 6 honorable mentions.
Yes.
And
so do I.
It's tough decisions, but my first one is 2001 Space Odyssey.
You're generic. I mean, that's on a bunch of people's lists.
Well, it's 16 for me, but it's regarded as one
of on my list.
One of the most meaningful movies ever made. I remember watching it, not understanding any of it, and when I was younger, and I've watched it through the years, and I've read about it, and I've grown to love it more and more. So that's where I start. 2001.
Now, did you do that because it had a feel? You had a feeling you didn't even understand what was going on when you watched
it? Look, the soundtrack alone. That
I'm not saying I watched it. I watched it a long time ago, and
I never wanted the space baby.
I never.
Hal.
I know how. I just
let you open the door.
I never felt the connection to that movie.
See,
I watched it and I went, all right.
It's so deep. Don't mock my. What's yours?
Yeah, I will mock if I think yours suck. It's not a bad choice. Don't get me wrong. It's not in a lot of people's top fives. Right. It's not Street Hawk. Thank God.
All right, let's hear.
I had to go look and make sure Megaforce did not qualify as a
these that words. I should have done Megaforce.
All right, my first honorable mention.
Number 16.
Flight of the Navigator.
Oh, that was a good one.
That when I was a kid, holy crap, I watched that movie and I thought I wanted to be that kid.
That was in my top 20. That, and I grouped that with The Last Starfighter. We're like neck and neck of like, oh man, I got to put those on somewhere. It's a good one. That's a good one.
You mean?
Oh, he's showing
The Last Starfighter?
He's pulling out the DVDs for those only listening. All right.
We'll get to that later. That's way further along in my list.
I could have had a top 15 sci-fi movies just with Tom Cruise. So my 15th is Oblivion. Underrated, so good.
Underrated, but your top all-time list?
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie.
It's an honorable mention. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I like it.
It's one of the first.
I would have went Edge of Tomorrow if I was going to Tom Cruise one. I have no Tom Cruise ones in my
Edge of Tomorrow would have been probably the 17th. I love Edge of Tomorrow. They're making a sequel. I think they're working on it.
There's been rumors of that, yeah.
Oblivion was the guy who made Dune, which will be on my list somewhere. But he was like most of the sci-fi is like night, rainy, all this stuff. His is like, no, this is bright in the day. And they hit the little pod airplane. I'm like, oh, I got to get in there. And then like the twist at the end, I thought was great. So I'm rocking with Oblivion. All right, what you got for 15?
Hold on. Let's see.
Don't change the orders now.
Oh, why isn't it connected to the TV?
Hey.
E.T.
That was a good one. Now
I got to figure out it's not connected to the TV.
There we go.
So E.T. When I was a kid, I had an E.T. stuffed animal on my bed. I loved E.T. I had that thing on my bed through my teenage years for the most part, and for a long time, then I put it up on my shelf, I think, when I got to be more like 15, 16 years old. E.T. was awesome. What a great movie. Yeah. And also just the imagination of a friendly alien coming to our planet.
Yeah.
And then also the connection with the Galactic Senate and Star Wars.
You have to tie it in somewhere.
I mean, hey, we got to talk about, that.
All right, no, first, how scary were the people in hazmat suits when you were a kid? Like that was.
I was scared for E.T.
Hazmat. Oh, I was terrified. And they're busting through the windows.
Yeah. So E.T. is my one of my honorable mentions. So it would be 15th on my list. And a lot of people have it way higher in their list, but I just it moved me a lot. But it was so long ago, and then you see the technology and stuff nowadays. But it didn't. It's not one that I've watched a bunch of times. I think I've seen E.T. like 3 times in my life.
I probably saw it 50,000 times in the 80s.
I've only ever seen it.
I haven't watched it since I've turned over 30.
I will tell you what, it was going to be the first movie I ever saw at the movie theater, but it was sold out. So my mom took us to the Black Stallion Returns instead. And I liked to like Black Stallion Returns, but would have loved to have seen E.T. on a movie theater screen, but we ended up not getting to see it until it came out on VHS because we didn't go to a lot of movies when I was a kid.
The first movie I saw as a kid was Star Wars, and I was cheering for the Stormtroopers because I thought they were the coolest of all the people. I wasn't really following what was going on. All right, we got to keep this rolling. Good one. When E.T. is in honorable mentions. This is how good our lists are. This is how many good sci-fi
Some people might not like our list, but I mean,
know. All right. My 14th, and I qualify this as sci-fi, Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Jurassic Park, based on science. Yes. Now, this was like the first real special effects sound thing. I think this is probably my first.
Jurassic Park is on my list, but further up on my list. Not in the honorable mentions.
This was, I think, my first IMAX movie. Like, I actually paid more to go see this with the surround sound with the big bass. So
I saw this at the movie theater. Yeah, I saw this at the movie theater, but not IMAX.
Go see it. So that's my quick one. Jurassic Park.
It does, and since it's on my list, I won't talk that much about it. Right. I'll talk about my feelings.
Show me your 14th.
My 14th is a dark horse.
Ooh,
little comedy going along with the sci-fi. Galaxy Quest with Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver.
All right, that is also on my list, slightly higher. That is the most perfect sci-fi comedy ever made. Yeah.
It was so good.
So good.
I've seen that movie at least. My son loved it too.
Yeah.
My daughter liked it. I think we probably watched that movie when they were growing up in at least 10 times.
I would rank Galaxy Quest like my third favorite Star Trek movie. Like I go like Wrath of Khan, like the Borg one with Picard.
I would not. There's too many good Star Trek movies.
Galaxy Quest is right there with number 3. That's how good they did.
Wrath of Khan is definitely my favorite, but there's some good ones.
I'm going to splash into the 80s real quick.
All right.
We're trying to run through the honorable mentions. This one I was in my top 10 for a long time, and then I bumped it down to 13, and that is the Schwarzenegger classic Totall Recall.
Oh, Totall Recall.
Yes, that was one of my all-time faves. I watch it all the time. Still holds up. In fact, I just watched Totall Recall like 2 or 3 weeks ago with my daughter. Yeah.
It may be on my list too.
It should be.
I have 2 Schwarzenegger movies on my list.
I could have had a whole Schwarzenegger thing. I could have gotten Running Man.
So I brainstormed about all these movies, and I slowly started picking through them. And there was 7, I think, Schwarzenegger movies.
Yeah, he had so many good ones. 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks? For those who know. And again, I will put links to
just
all
to
the
go
trailers.
with you.
Yeah.
The next one on my list is Totall Recall. So we're like sympathetic on the same number.
Yeah.
So right there, man, knuckle bump time.
Right there.
We were dialed in.
All right,
back to you since we already talked.
That's so good.
But Totall Recall, if you've never seen it, you got to watch it. It was
so
a whole. They were the Mars mining colony or whatever. Quato, the Resistance. It was brain twisting. There was some stuff going on. It was
the ending debate. Was it a recall? Was it real?
It was, and then they remade it with Colin Farrell.
Yeah, which was lame. It
was lame, but I mean, was it Jessica Biel?
Jessica Young
and Kate Beckinsale?
Yes, were the 2 girls.
2 of the women that I think are the hottest women on the face of the planet.
In the 80s, you had what was
Sharon Stone?
Sharon Stone's first gig, I think.
I don't know if it was her first one, but it was.
It was before very young Sharon Stone.
I don't know. It was before Basic Instinct.
Yes,
but she was in I think a Carl Weathers movie too,
could have been
Action Jackson or
it might have been
one of those.
This was one of her first gigs. She wasn't very well known, and then the lady that Kate Beckinsale played, the 80s lady, she was famous. She was in all these 80s movies.
The curly-haired, brown-haired.
Yes, she was a Hispanic girl that was
she was very attractive. Yeah.
Was really good. So yes.
And you had the girl with the 3rd tit.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big deal back then. Everybody was talking about that.
Still
3 tits? What?
Made me wish I had a third arm was the guy's line. It still holds up. Like when I watched it, like the effects were so practical.
You know what making this list made me do? Go, I got to go back and watch some of these movies. Because
I watched it 2 weeks ago with my daughter and it blew my daughter's mind. And I'm like, it really holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
Like it was all practical makeup that held up.
All right. So.
All right. What's your
no, it's you. We were talking Total Recall. Right.
My number 12 is the only animation one in this.
Animation, holy crap!
But
I can't think of any animated movies.
Well, there's a couple, and this kind of goes for all of them.
This is gonna suck. I have a feeling this is gonna suck.
Akira.
Oh, now, but that's anime. We're not doing a top 20 or top 10 list of anime.
This represents Ghost in the Shell.
The car's going off the road.
It's the only one.
Brad was killing it, and then street hawking it.
This and Ghost of the Shell and some of the other ones all hit me in the 90s. Like I was just in this like, no, that's animation.
Was that movie released at the movie theater?
I didn't see it in the movie theater.
Okay. I remember it was on the video shelf at the video store. This was a
VHS. My friend, he's like, "Oh, you like science fiction? We watched this and Ghost in the Shell." And
I have to. Thank God it's not in his top 10. It's an honorable mention, so I'm not going to rip him too bad about it. But I'm feeling Megaforce Street Hawk vibes from this pick. Not that it was a bad movie because I watched it.
Dare you with Megaforce?
It didn't make me feel anything, but
that type of animation.
It was cool. I remember it was cool, but I would not put it in a. I don't know. I guess I had no cartoon. I didn't consider a cartoon at all for mine.
Well, you know what?
Cartoons are a whole different category in my opinion.
All right. Well, that was my 12.
All right. So Brad sucked at number 12. My number 12, a little bit better than Brad's. They made 4 of them. The Matrix.
The Matrix is quite high in my list, but that is good. Yes.
The Matrix. The whole blue and red pill and how it's become part of our society. Like, are you going to wake the fuck up or are you going to keep you? And then
we still reference the Matrix.
And we still talk it like Elon Musk, one of the smarter men in our earth, and
thinks that we're living in a simulation.
I mean, this is I didn't think about any of that until this movie.
Yeah.
And then when this movie made me go, oh shit, who knows? We could be. And then smart people going, I think we might be in a simulation. And you start looking for little weird stuff, like where's it was great.
In the Matrix.
Keanu was great. Uploading information into your brain and learning jujitsu or karate or how to do things. I mean those things. It's so amazing.
I will talk more about it when we get to.
But I love Keanu Reeves. Lawrence Fishburne. I mean, good Lord, he was awesome.
What's that? Carrie-Anne Moss.
Carrie-Anne Moss. What a absolute. She's still hot. Yeah. Have you seen her recently? She was in something I watched recently, and she's older. She's still hot.
I liked her in Matrix 4.
I liked her in everything. I mean, she's beautiful, and she was a great actress. And what a great movie! The action, the fighting, the sci-fi part of it, the science behind it. It was amazing. And I at first had it in my top 10, then it slowly drifted down as I just I kept going. My problem is I really put my list together on things that created that feeling inside of me. Not that I thought were amazing movies. They had to be that too.
Yeah.
But ones that just made my imagination and that part of you really get stimulated where you're just thinking about it and you're like, oh, that movie. Remember when they did this and they did, like it was that's where my list slowly moved Matrix out of my top 10. Not that I don't think it's top 10 worthy. So Brad will get a kudo for that.
Yes. My 11th is Galaxy Quest.
Oh,
which we already talked about. That was in the top 10 for a while, and it just kind of got bumped down. But it is high quality.
Look at that. You have Tim Allen, who I love. He's one. I love it. I'm a Christmas guy, so Santa Claus movies. Home Improvement was great. He did a bunch of movies that were good, but also this was one of them. Sigourney Weaver from Aliens.
He is the best.
Alan Rickman.
Yes, as the Spock-like character.
I mean, this movie had a great cast, and it's funny, and there's good science, and there's bad aliens, and they're trying to defend, and they got a starship. It is amazing.
The comedy of it all.
And the aliens are like the nerdiest, goofiest aliens.
Yes.
And they're just like, they're like the Coneheads almost.
The one guy wearing the red suit who won't go down because he's like, I'm dead, man.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Galaxy Quest, solid.
Yes.
It even higher than I had it. And I originally had it in my top 10 and it slowly drifted down.
It was also in my top 10 and was slightly bumped. All right, what's your 11th? And then we'll get nitty gritty.
My 11th. Oh, I got a song to this one.
Woohoo!
All right, hold on. Pandora Avatar.
Yes.
So,
It would have been in my top 20. I thought of it this morning, but then I was already committed and I didn't want to mess up anything. But
Avatar, when I watched it, gave me that feeling like, holy crap, it gave me that feeling as an adult when I watched it.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is possible. You know, in the future, this is something's possible. Now, I don't like some aspects of it, but in general, the movie was beautiful. The idea and the science behind it, and then us going to other planets and doing, like, I know we're the evil capitalists, blah, blah, blah. But, I just loved how they fought back against the bad guys.
Oh, my gosh.
And the unity of it. And it's almost like the Force.
Yes.
Well,
it's all connected like the Force.
Like it's energy. It's all the planets. It's all these things. So I loved Avatar.
I just want to take a minute because this would have been in my top 10. I debated it. I forgot about it until this morning when I'm like, should I put it in? I saw this movie probably 4 times in the theaters when it came out. I
had one of those movies that popped in my head today, but then I was like, oh, it's more fantasy.
Yeah.
It's more fantasy.
I thought,
there really wasn't any science. I couldn't think of any science behind it.
But this movie is special to me for a couple of reasons. One, the technology. James Cameron pushed special effects forward 10 years with this movie.
Yep.
When I first saw this movie, I was so immersed just with the special effects. Like I was so much overwhelmed. You
could say that Cameron and George Lucas are the two pioneers.
They are the pioneers of the special effects.
That have really made the leaps forward.
Yes.
In this thing. Industrial Light and Magic, which was George Lucas's, and James Cameron it was amazing. You watched it and you just went, what in the blue hell is this stuff?
This was the first 3D movie that I watched and got into. Yeah. The story was great. I like the story. I mean, the story is pretty common. It is like same with Dancing with Wolves. It's the same, but the amount of immersion and world building that he did for this movie was fantastic. Yep. And the motion capture, we're going to have 3 CGI lead characters. You'd have been like, what?
Yep.
Lame. But you bought it. It was so well done.
It was amazing. And I liked the new one too. I didn't like it as much as the first one, but I like it.
That's a quality one.
It's amazing.
If I had to relist, that probably would have been in my top 10 if I would have done it.
But it was originally really in my top 10, then got pushed.
Man. So. And those are just our honorable mentions. Now
these are our honorable mentions.
So hard.
All right.
Okay.
Number 10.
We're doing number 10. Let me pull it up.
Let's hear it.
All right. This is one of my all-time favorite movies, regardless. It's number 10. It is Robocop. Now, when I was a kid, I almost wish that I was exploded and shot and I could have gone to school in a Robocop body. I still love the premise. They remade Robocop, and I love that one too.
It was pretty good. I liked the remake. I thought it was very good.
A cartoon made from it.
Yep.
I did the Robocop cartoon, all of the comedy. Like when I grew up, this hit me in several levels. When I was a kid, he just looked badass to me. He had this slow, thick walk, and he had the big pistol coming out of his thigh. And then when I watched
machine gun pistol.
Yes. Oh, which was so badass.
It was badass.
He would ricochet stuff, And then the line at the end of the movie, oh, you're fired. Thank you. And he shoots the bad guy because he couldn't shoot him because, work on fired people.
I put this on my list and then I had to take it off because I just didn't feel like it's sci-fi anymore.
Well, they could do this. Sci-fi at the time. Yeah, I know.
They could take somebody who has no legs and arms and like put a bunch of mechanical stuff. I don't know if we're right to the level of making them into Robocop, but I think we're pretty close.
We are pretty close.
Neuralink has already been inserted in somebody, and
this held a very special place in my.
I can't argue with it. I did see it say it was sci-fi too.
Yeah,
you know, adventure sci-fi. I think is what it goes into. But I just couldn't do it because I go, it's not really science fiction anymore.
No,
we're so close to that. Yeah. It's like I just didn't put. That's the main reason it's not in my honorable mentions. I don't think it would be in my top 10.
Yeah,
but it was on my brainstorming list.
Yes,
my brainstorming list was about 35 movies.
I know, me too. It was so hard.
And then I started narrowing it down.
I love so many.
All right, so my number 10.
All right,
this is one that is a little obscure.
All right.
So this is, and it's
Disney's
sci-fi.
Black Hole.
No, it is. It is a movie that had 2 superstars in it.
Okay,
guys that ended up being big time stars: Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix.
Oh, I know which one it is already.
Explorers.
Yes.
So these kids make a spaceship in their backyard,
which was my dream as a kid.
How is it not your dream as a kid? I mean, like, I was enthralled with this movie. I even like 3 or 4 years later.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was 5. I can't remember, but I saw it in a bin.
Yeah.
I had a VHS of it.
Yeah.
So I saw it in the bin at the a used VHS. They used to have bins of them. I bought it then. And then also.
Oh boy, here we go.
Explorers, baby, on DVD.
Explorers. For those coming in and looking at the YouTube,
Ethan Hawke is a very young man.
Yes.
And River Phoenix, before he committed suicide, became a teenager, committed suicide. I don't know who the other kid is.
What kid? Now there was another movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Avatar.
It was like Space Camp, where he was accidentally jetted off into space. Like some of these movies,
Space Camp was great, but it wasn't sci-fi.
Yeah, but I mean, like some of these movies come out in like clumps. You know, like you had like 2 or 3 asteroid movies all come out in the same summer. So I kind of, when I was looking back, this was on my list of my brainstorming was Explorers. So Base Camp.
This was my fantasy one that I almost
put on the list. That was a good one. He's talking about Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
But that's fantasy.
It is. I couldn't find anything scientific except for Jax's arms.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good obscure one.
That would have been in my top 10 if it was sci-fi, but it's not really sci-fi, so I didn't put it in there.
But Explorers is
Explorers. It was so good. I've seen that movie so many times.
Me and my brother pretended to make a spaceship in our backyard. We used like boxes and some like wood, and we sat in there. And
who did it? Me and my sisters.
Yeah.
And then when we were older, me and my friends were like, man, when you start taking science and stuff, like, hey, you know what? I think we can probably figure this out just like
we got to work out that.
I mean, the premise is silly that young teenager, like they weren't even teenagers. They were like maybe like 10 to 13 years old.
But it was a kid movie made for kids.
It was so good. And they go up onto a spaceship.
Yeah.
You know, and then they have to explore the spaceship, figure out how to get home. It was
so good.
Like, it was excellent, and it had a huge effect on me.
It like ignited my childhood passion of space. I think it was one of the first movies that I'm like, oh my god, I would love to be an astronaut.
Yeah, Space Camp and Explorers definitely were 2 things that made me think
when these were coming out, like Discovery, they would pull us out of school and watch TV every time, Discovery would shoot off to space. Like that space exploration was huge in the 80s.
I think they stopped doing that.
Yeah, they did. But I mean,
then it exploded.
But
that's when it stopped happening in schools.
But like in the 80s, like that was huge. Space, astronauts, Challenger. We won't talk about that. But that's a good one. That is a good one. I can't even mock you for that.
Why not talk about it?
It's awesome
because
I watched it happen at school, and they quickly turned off the TV.
The teacher tried to like go. That's like all of us were just like, "Holy crap!" But like one girl started crying, and the teacher freaked out. So
yeah, my number 9.
All right, let's see if we got a
great movie for lots of reasons. I went with Children of Men, number 9.
Children of Men.
Children of Men.
I've never even heard of this.
Oh, movie. You gotta watch it. Came out early.
Are you messing with me?
No. This is about a dystopian.
Is this a movie that came out at a movie theater?
Yes. Came out, stars Clive Owen.
Clive Owen? I know Clive
This
Owen.
is about a dystopian future.
I love Arthur.
Yes.
Arthur.
Yes.
Clive Owen is so good.
About
children.
The women can no longer have children. So there's no more children born. The world is doomed to die. Every year they celebrate the youngest person's birthday because he will be the last young person.
This doesn't sound very sci-fi-ish.
It's sci-fi.
Did they go into space or something?
No, it's science fiction. Google it. People who know.
That's something that could happen. Like there could be some.
It's set in the future.
Let's say we have another pandemic, scamdemic. Let's say we have that, but this time it sterilizes all the women.
Yeah.
Oh, right. It's not science fiction anymore. It happened. That's something that's plausible that could happen.
Look,
Total Recall
could it plausibly happen.
It could.
Doesn't mean it's not science fiction.
We're going to try to establish bases on Mars to launch or on the moon to launch to Mars.
The world has thrown into chaos.
Yeah.
All right.
Do aliens come down and help?
No. I'll tell you. First of all, you got to watch the movie. It is so. It's by the same guy.
It doesn't sound sci-fi-ish to me.
It's the same guy who made Dune 1 and 2. It's the same guy who made Oblivion.
You're on this guy's chalk.
He is. He's one of my all-time favorites.
What's his name? Isn't it like
he's French? And I will
Villarreal or something.
It's like Villeneuve or something.
Oh.
It's like Dennis Villeneuve.
Oh yeah, Dennis. Yeah, great. I haven't watched Dune 2 yet, but
so it's about England's the last country holding on to any type of order, and they have so many cool futuristic ideas. Like they have a suicide kit that you call this number, and you can get the suicide kit safe. Stop trying to cheer people up. And so you're like watching this, so
that you can Kevorkian yourself.
Yes. And be like, oh, I can't take it. And you call up, there's like commercials like, are you feeling really sad? Well, you can call this 800 number and we'll ship you this painless suicide kit where you can put yourself to sleep.
I'm feeling really sad. Breathing. I'm going to go down and kill all you sons of bitches that are trying to get me to commit suicide.
And so Clive Owen is kind of this, private eye detective guy kind of living on the edge. And all of a sudden, he's reached out by this group of scientists hiding in an oil tanker in the ocean. And they hire him to get
still don't see any sci-fi to this.
Just let me. They hired him as this grizzled guy to take this young, mysterious woman to them through this war-scarred hell. And this woman is pregnant. And she is a virgin and she's pregnant. And he has
this sounds religious
through this all of this stuff. And
I like the tie-in with with Anakin Skywalker and
yeah. And
you got Jesus and Anakin Skywalker.
There's two big scenes that this movie's famous for. One is this non-edited car scene that has never been done before.
Did an alien come down an incinerator?
No, it's in the future. It's post-apocalyptic. It's science fiction. It's classified.
I don't know if this qualifies as science fiction. I haven't heard any science yet. Scientists on a boat, did they do something?
Yeah.
Did they make a spaceship? Did they make a laser gun?
No. I will give you the IMDb page. This is made as a science fiction movie.
I would watch it. I just don't know if this is on a top 10 list when you're talking about you've already kicked Avatar out of the top 10.
No, I didn't kick it. That's because I forgot about it until I came in and then I remembered it.
All right.
It is so good.
Galaxy Quest is sci-fi. Total Recall's sci-fi.
Yeah. You got to watch it. Even if you don't think
Flight of the Navigator is one. I mean, it might be a good movie. It sounds interesting.
You got to watch it.
I don't ever remember hearing about it, but
oh yeah, you got to watch.
Which tells me that it wasn't a very successful movie.
It was a very successful movie.
It made money.
It did make money.
Tell me how much money it made. Look up its IMDb.
While
he's doing that, I am dubious of whether this is actually a sci-fi movie, but hey, it could be a great movie.
I will say,
I think Brad has loose terms of what sci-fi is.
Men's Health rated.
He likes zombies though, and I don't. So he's into the post-apocalyptic stuff. But that's stuff that could happen.
Before you go on, in my defense, Men's Health ranked it the #1 science fiction movie of all time.
I haven't heard any science involved.
Vulture magazine ranked it in the top 5 science fiction movie of all time. And entertainment.
So is their qualification of sci-fi meaning that they don't really think this planet could all go to hell and we would be in post-apocalyptic world? They think that it can't happen?
No, I think science fiction is things that are based, set in the future that have not happened yet, even though they could.
I think there has to be some science involved. Meaning there has to be like
there's
time travel, there's spaceships,
there's future
advanced technology, cybernetics
technologies
or out of our mind that we wouldn't even have thought of.
Technologies that you haven't thought of in it. Watch it, you'll see. It's just the technology.
They come bring me a kit with a syringe and I just have to inject myself. I mean, that's something we can do right now. Give me a cyanide pill, I could be dead. They did it back they did it hundreds of years ago.
Until you watch the movie, you're not allowed to comment. You watch the movie.
Because nobody watching this podcast or listening, except for your mom maybe, is going to even know what the movie is. I've never heard of it.
It's well known.
And I'm pretty good in pop culture, movies and TV shows at least. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I haven't heard anything science fiction yet. Yes. All right, so let's get in to mine, and Brad's going to educate me, and I'm going to watch this movie because it sounds good.
Rotten Tomato score of 9 out of 10.
I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying it's not science fiction.
Yeah. It's good.
All right. My number 9
was nominated for 3
Oscars. My number 9 actually had scientists doing science in it. It's Jurassic Park.
That is good.
The scene where you see the dinosaurs for the first time. Did that not fucking blow your mind?
Yes, when you lifted the head up.
Yeah, and oh my, because she's all into plants and shit, and then he's just like, and I mean, that's how every single person would be when you see something of that stature, and then they brought it to screen beautifully. I mean, it was so great. The actors in it were amazing.
Drama.
Drama. That's what it is. It's a drama.
Sci-fi thriller.
Drama fantasy.
I rest my case.
There's
3 Oscar norms, Barbara.
There's no sci-fi.
3 Oscar
no
norms.
Sci-fi. No sci-fi.
Oh, I've never heard of it. Oh, you never heard of an Oscar?
Not sci-fi. And I do not usually like it. Well, this year I thought Oppenheimer was an amazing movie and it won the Oscars and it won a lot. So I this year was one of the few years where I would go, oh yeah, that was the best movie of the year. Oppenheimer was amazing. I loved it. But Jurassic Park, the actors.
Yes.
Sir Richard Attenborough or whatever.
All of them are good.
Then you have Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum.
Sexy Jeff Goldblum.
Sexy Jeff Goldblum.
And chaos mask with the water great. On the knuckle, like 50% chance, but you gotta have all the little capillaries. Little made quantum math cool for the ladies.
Who was the guy from Seinfeld? The jury.
Oh, the ultimate bad guy. I know what you're talking about. You're asking the guy who knows no names. I don't know any names.
What did Simon?
But he's the mailman.
Something.
Yeah.
Nelson or hello. Anyway, Newman. He was in it too. Newman. Hello, Newman. That guy was in it. Overweight guy. He got eaten. No spoilers here. That was
even a young.
Imagine in the 80s going to the movie theater.
I think it was early 90s.
Was it early 90s? All right. So remember early night. I was in high school still. So it had to be 1990 then. I'm pretty sure I was in high school. Maybe I was I'm pretty sure.
All right. If you want to be proven wrong twice, keep talking.
No, I wasn't proven wrong on the other one. That's a post-apocalyptic thing with no science in it.
It's rated as sci-fi.
Unless aliens impregnated her.
Can't say until you watch the movie. 1993.
And when you heard this music,
still to this day, it's so good.
You know it's Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Because you were just like, oh my God. And guess who did all the music to all these?
Same dude.
The same dude. George Lucas used them. Steven Spielberg used them. John Williams. Unbelievable. There's the man right there, John Williams, doing the orchestra. The stuff that you heard that he does. a lot of it's just music for the movie and stuff. But when you get those main themes, holy crap! I mean, Star Wars literally. Who comes up with that?
Who
comes up? How would I like? They go, I need you to make a theme for this. You know, like I'm not a musical person per se. Yeah. I know I like music a lot, and I listen to a lot of music in various types.
Would you not go to his concert?
Oh, I would go see him in art.
Yeah,
I got a respect for classical music in high school because we had to I was on the academic decathlon team, and we had to listen to classical music and be able to identify it because we'd be quizzed on it.
So good.
And
such a nerd.
So nerd. I love Jurassic Park. I love the way it made me feel and the awe of it and the imagination that maybe this could happen. And guess what? It probably could happen. Let's be honest.
Are there aliens?
If we took some rules off some of these freaky genetic things, and even with some of these countries, like stuff that the rumors of experiments that they're doing in China and stuff like that,
they're already bringing back the woolly mammoth. So
yes.
All right, my number 8.
Let's have it be a sci-fi movie.
They've all been sci-fi things.
Let's have it be a sci-fi movie, please.
And it is The Fifth Element.
All right, yeah, that's a good one.
I love this movie. I love how it was made.
I knew this was going to be on.
Yeah, I love how the guy did it. Like this guy, it is nothing in this movie makes sense. It is just this.
It's why I didn't like it as much.
Bonkers. Like from the guy from Friday, that got knocked out.
Chris Tucker.
Yeah, and who's the big black guy who was the neighborhood bully in that movie?
Oh, Tiny.
Yeah, he was the president of the Galactic Council.
Also in one of the great 80 movies.
Yes.
No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan, where he played Zeus.
I mean, the cast alone is insane. Like, he's just, I mean, you have, again, I'm such horrible names. Was it Gary Oldman?
Gary Oldman
was the just over the top bad guy. You had a blonde haired Bruce Willis. You had a striking young, I think it was her first acting gig. I'm not even going to say Jola's name, whatever.
Mila Jovovich?
Something like that. Jehovah Witness itch. I just the casting alone didn't make sense. It had the weird music. It had the weird aliens.
I can't disagree with that pick.
Chris Tucker. It had flying cars. It had multipass. It had the priest. It made no sense. And then my favorite scene was the little blue alien opera. And she sings it in real life. Like, you can YouTube her singing it at shows. I mean, she is still that voice was crazy. It's just nothing made sense. Like, whose world is this?
That's why I didn't like it that much.
Let's cast a president. You know who we should cast?
It doesn't make sense to me.
The biggest dude we know.
Yeah.
I
liked it all right. I watched it and I went, I like it, but I never watched it again. I watched it one time. I never watched it again.
It's really good if you eat some edibles and watch it.
Oh, well, then,
it's really good if you're just it's a bunch.
It's very vibrant colors. Cinematography was really good in it.
Yeah. Oh, it was super saturated with color. It was just crazy all around.
Yes.
I adore it.
All right.
Let's hear your 8.
So my number 8.
Oh, yes.
Terminator 2.
Now, see.
Judgment Day.
I combined this and the first one, which are in my list still.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
The first one was great. I loved it. But Terminator, there was something about Terminator 2.
Came out in 92, I think.
Holy crap. I mean, I think this is quintessentially one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's best movies.
By far. By far.
The movie with James Cameron. I mean, holy crap.
Yes.
I can't even describe the Robert Patrick stuff.
Yes. See, again, James Cameron, when he had that melting cop run and melt and do that stuff, never been done before.
Yeah.
The abyss in this.
And it looks real.
Pushed. It holds up to this day.
Oh,
To this day, you could watch it.
This is one of the movies I need to go. I haven't watched this in probably like 7 or 8 years. Yeah. So I was like sitting there trying to draw my mind back to it. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I need to watch this again because it's such a good movie.
It is good.
But I've watched. Oh, I probably should have stopped that. But
this was very high on my list, but I linked it with the other. But I'll talk about the other because some I can't. They go so well together. I can't.
They go together, but we're talking movies.
This is my list.
And out of all the Terminator movies, Terminator 2 was the best. Hands down, the best. I love the first one too.
I get your argument, but I like the first one because the first one I didn't know what the Terminator was. He didn't speak much, but I'll tell you about it when I get to it on my list. Yeah, because that might be on our next podcast.
All right.
All right.
Next for you, 7 for Brad. So Brad, let's be clear.
Yeah.
What was your number 9?
My number 9 was Children of Men.
All right, mine was Jurassic Park.
Yeah. And then I went Fifth Element, and you went
Fifth Element. I went Terminator 2. I think I win there too.
Yep. I don't think so.
I do.
My number 7.
Yep.
Again, it's a double movie because they go together. One coherent story. Dune 1 and Dune 2 that just came out. Oh my gosh!
I can't comment on Dune 2. I thought the first Dune was really good.
I will just let you know. I was a big fan of the '80s Dune with Fincher or whatever his name was.
David Finch.
Thank you. See, I'm so bad. As our 2 followers know, me and names is a bad combination.
Yep. He's not good at trivia. I'll just say
I will watch this movie at least 5 more times. As soon as it gets released to video, like I'll watch it over and over again. I watched Dune 1 probably 10 times.
Wait, hold on. I think you may have said that Finch, but it wasn't. It might be David Lynch.
I don't know. He'll look that up.
But I think it was Finch.
This movie reignited my love of sci-fi. We have not had a very good sci-fi movie in a long time that wasn't like comic book related. Like this, every shot, like the guy who makes this movie, Denis Villeneuve, is visionary. He just thinks of stuff that I don't even know about. I was very tempted to put in Blade Runner 2049, but I chose another Blade Runner. Can't tell you who, but it's the same thing. You're not
supposed to give away too many. Now I already know 2 of the things in your top 5.
It is one of the most visually stunning movies I have ever seen, Dune 1 and 2. It is every single
I am excited, and I may actually go to the movie theater to see Dune 2.
You have to see it in the movie theater.
So, because I really like Dune 1, but it came out during COVID.
Yeah.
I was like, when I got done with it, I go, they got to make part 2.
Yes.
This has to be successful. Do not let its COVID thing,
Dune 1 was like this story setup of the houses. Dune 2 is retribution. Yes. It is him turning to the dark side, retribution, action, and not only should you see it in a movie theater, you have to see it in XD or IMAX. It is the sound with Hans Zimmer.
I may do XD, but I won't do IMAX. I went to one IMAX movie and I did not like it. I felt like I couldn't see everything.
Yeah,
I felt like it was just too much.
It is almost overwhelming with what this guy's visuals are. It is such a good movie. I was going to have it higher. But I was like, some of the 80s kind of bumped it down. So good. It will be, as soon as Dune 2 was over, I'm like, I need to go see this again. Like, I really wanted to go back and be like, I'll see this on Thursday.
Now that's worthy of a top 10.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to diminish it. I've only seen Dune 1, and I thought it was really good. And just independently, I wouldn't put it in my top 10 or my honorable mentions. But it's because I haven't seen Dune 2 yet.
Yeah.
Now, I did put in my brainstorming list the original Dune, because that really was something that I really, dude, the knife fight scene between Sting and Kyle MacLachlan. I mean, come on,
it's so good.
But I mean, I've heard amazing things. I've heard nothing but good things about Dune 2. So maybe this weekend, if I decide to take a free minute, I might go watch it. He's not that interested. I can't get that kid to watch anything. This kid grew up with the huge love of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon on Nickelodeon. Yeah. He hasn't even watched the live action. He plays D&D, and he's worried about his Jaeger on the Pacific Rim game, and he plays with these people, and he has faces all over his screen. And I'm like, that's cool, but you got to do other stuff. Yeah. He hasn't even watched the Last Airbender series, which was
Pacific
excellent.
Rim was also close on my list. and so was Mortal Engines. But I digress.
I didn't like Mortal Engines.
The concept is enough for me. It was a disappointing
movie.
It
has to be a movie that makes you feel something.
Yeah.
So if that non-sci-fi movie with non-pregnant women and one pregnant woman, if that moved you, great.
It did. And when you watch it this weekend, you're going to thank me. I expect a text of like,
I may thank you and say it's a good movie, but I haven't heard one sci-fi thing about it.
It's in the future, sci-fi.
Now, I don't think zombie movies are sci-fi.
No.
They're horror movies.
They're horror movies.
But I think it's possible that some weird disease could happen and people start eating each other. Who knows? That's within the realm of science of these weirdos out there splicing genes and doing all this.
All right, you got to hurry. We got to get the next episode in.
You're the one talking about weird movies that aren't even sci-fi.
What's your number 7?
My number 7. Alien.
This was really high on mine too.
So when I was a kid,
let
me pause this real quick so we don't. So when I was a kid, my parents wouldn't let me watch Alien at that age. Hell no. I go over to my friend's house at the time, and his parents did let him watch that stuff. And this is how long ago it was.
Yep.
Do you remember Laserdisc players?
Oh yeah.
All right. These big old. I mean, they're like this,
the size of a frisbee for those who are just listening.
And they were called Laserdisc players. Yeah. So I go to his house and we watch a movie. They have like 5 movies they own. On Laserdisc. And 2 of those movies, the first one was actually on the sci-fi list. It was ranked number 100 on one of the lists I looked at, called Dragon Slayer.
Oh yeah. If we do
I was scared about that. I watched that because I didn't get to watch horror movies.
Yeah.
Like when my mom let me and my sisters watch it when it was on ABC, I think, back in the day. Scared to shit. My sisters were scared shitless. I was scared too, but not like my sisters couldn't go to sleep. They had to sleep in my mom and dad's bed after watching it.
Pansies.
The miniseries. The original, not the new ones out. It was scary as a kid.
Yeah.
But we watched Dragon Slayer, so it's pretty gory and it's pretty. And then we watched Aliens, and I was scared shitless. I was scared shit. Like they thought I was so scared that I couldn't. Like I was like almost couldn't sleep. About stuff bursting out of bellies, and this freaking aliens are so scary with the stuff coming. I was scared shitless, but also, Ripley, badass.
First of all,
first female I really remember as a kid being a badass. Where you love your mom, you love your grandma, but there's like women. This woman was like. This woman can kick some ass.
This is high in my top 5 list as well. So I'll talk about it now, and we'll kind of fly over it when we get there. But this movie was so scary that just the
and you got to remember we're 51, and this happened back in this was
gotta be early 80s. Right?
I'd say like 3rd or 4th grade is when I watched this.
The trailer, the first trailer is nothing but an egg on a brownie. Did you know that? The guy who did the trailer, that is just an egg and a brownie. And that's all the trailer was. It's just slow camera move over this dimly lit egg on a brownie. And even the trailer was terrifying. And then the tagline is no one can hear you scream in space.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So this is coming off, everyone's making Buck Rogers, Star Wars, Star Trek movies. This is like the first real space horror movie. And this isn't any space horror movie. This is like gritty space. These spaceships weren't pretty.
All right. You're gonna talk about this in years, right?
Yeah, they're dank, drippy, all of that. Like
moisture, hot, everybody's like sweating.
Everything was unpleasant in this thing, and it's so crammed together. And then the look of the alien itself. Like I read a whole book about the guy who
you'll see how it relates directly. My number 7 relates directly to my number 6.
Yeah, I have them together. So
I don't. Yeah, I know, but no, it's not. Yeah. It's not aliens. Yeah, but it's. You see that there's a correlation between evil, like bad aliens coming to.
Yeah, this movie. When I talk about the other one coming up later, in fact, we should probably just plow through, and I'll split it up, and we'll just do another intro. because we might as well just keep rolling. So good. Yep. Because I'm sure we'll have some carryover. All right. That was your number 7.
That was my number 7. So you're at number 6.
My number 6.
Wait. You want to just cut it right here?
Yeah, why not? Why don't we just cut it?
So we will put the second episode of this the next week. So this will be your episode. So we're cutting off right now. We're going to do our top 6 on the next episode. And so come back and see it next week. Talk to you later.